for yours. Awesome. So welcome to our regular Monday night mesh movement call. And tonight I'm really excited, not only to be looking at Alex's face again, it's been a little while since we got to hang out, but to be able to share her amazing content with you as well, because I saw Alex, I think it was close to like almost 2 years ago now. It feels like 6 weeks ago, at one of her seminars in Brisbane. And look, to be real, I was invited by one of my team members who's like, come and check out this girl. It's all high vibe. And I'm like, high vibe, schmab, whatever. Like, I didn't get it. I hadn't done anything really to do with, shifts or mindsets or manifestation or any of that kind of stuff really. And as soon as I met Alex and started to delve a little bit deeper, I'm not going to lie, it's become a little bit of an obsession of mine, this manifesting and trying to prove it wrong, because I'm that type of person, right? Yeah. So I try and catch it out. Yeah. So I'm going to read you a little bit about Alex, and then we're going to kick off, because we are going to be covering tonight how to create a subatomic shift with money. So it's going to be absolutely huge. So Alex is an international speaker and #1 best-selling author. Alex Tripod has been obsessed with manifesting, law of attraction and vibration her entire life. Alex is a big believer that when you finally allow yourself to immerse yourself in the very thing you've been secretly obsessed with, your whole life then explodes. Yeah. Her obsession is to raise the vibration of humanity, free people of the programming society has led us to believe, and give people the tools they need in order to become conscious creators of their reality and harness the invisible forces at play. Alex cuts through the fluff, which I love. She gets real, and she gives practical tools and manifestation in a very matter-of-fact and scientific level. She's worked with thousands of people, helping them shift into higher frequencies and transform their finances, businesses, relationships, health, and mindsets. Alex is all about getting people tangible and fast results. Running the infamous 21-day Manifesting Accelerated Challenge and running her workshop, Raise Your Vibration, around the globe, Alex has one mission, and that is to raise the vibration of humanity on a global scale, all whilst giving people...
Small goal.
Yeah, always giving us the tools, right? So, Alex, you know what? I've said enough, but what an intro, right?
It's a really good reminder, Mel, for me to shorten my bio next time I fucking send it to someone, because I'm like getting triggered over here listening to all that. I'm like, receive.
But you know what? I've got my paper and pen ready this end. I'm just going to hand it over to you. And if you could blow our minds, that would be amazing.
Yeah, no pressure. Hey, just blow your minds and create a subatomic shift around money. Let's do this, guys. So you know what? I loved what you've already said, Mel, because you've just said that since the workshop, you've become secretly obsessed with it in a really in a way to kind of like find a way, like the logical mind. And that's what I found with so many people, especially when, and I hope this makes sense, Mel, is when we've got a lot of masculine energy. It's usually the kind of the hustle person. The person does really well in business, especially women. They've got a bit of that masculine energy. And which actually means that we can sometimes have a lot more of that logical mind. It says my internet connection is unstable, but I've got 4 bars. Am I sweet, guys? All right, cool. So when you've got your logical mind, it means you've got that conscious mind trying to call bullshit. And this is why I've kind of gone really, really deep on quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and a little bit more scientific, because if I really want to help humanity and I really want to help blow people's minds, I've got to attend to the people that are a bit more logical. And so, instead of going on about the woo-woo and the manifesting, in the last 12 years, I've gone really, really deep, guys, around personal, what actually creates a shift in your reality and what affects your personal energetic frequency. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's heard this before. Personal energetic frequency is basically like your invisible life force that shapes your entire reality. It literally determines how your reality shapes around you. And at the most elementary, basic level, and I'm not going to get into, you know, Albert Einstein, E equals MC squared and all that kind of stuff, but at the most elementary level, the reason why I've become so obsessed with the subatomic particle is because we are made up of energy, right? So we're made up of cells, which are made up of atoms. And what are atoms? Atoms are subatomic particles. So if you look right down to the bottom thing, we are literally made up of subatomic particles. We are just pure energy. And what determines our reality, and I'll get into money very soon, but literally what determines our reality is how fast or how slow our own subatomic particles are moving in our own energy fields. So if you ever come across someone's energy where you're kind of repelled by them, repulsed by them, they're kind of like, ugh, right? It's because they've got dense energy, right? And so that means if you look up, like maybe after this training, go on, or even now, go on Google and look up the consciousness funnel. And it's basically like this funnel that looks like this. When you're in a contracted state, you're in your ego. You've got dense, low energy. And what this means is literally your subatomic particles are moving really slow. They're really heavy. They're really dense. On the flip side to this, if you're vibing high, everyone heard, oh, I'm vibing high today. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Like, you know, I always used to say this shit, never really understood what it meant. When you're vibrating high, it means your subatomic particles are moving really fast and they're really light. This is why they talk about light beings. When you're a light being, it means you're in an expanded energy. And so again, if you look at the consciousness funnel, way up, the whole point is you want to raise your vibration so your frequency is higher. And the reason you want to do this is the higher you vibrate, the faster it is to shift realities. The faster it is to shift financially, the faster it is to shift in relationship, the faster it is to shift health, business, you name it. And we can literally be vibrating at different areas of our life. You know, so you might have a killer body and great health, but you might just be drowning in debt. So we can be vibrating at different areas. And so that's a big
place now, Emma.
Hello, how you doing?
Sorry.
Are you all right? I love it. And so that's the biggest thing I've been working on, Mel. Another thing I guess I wanted to share is the reason that this is so important is I think there's a lot of talk around hustle versus flow or hustle versus alignment. And I don't want to negate hustle. I think that hustle has its purpose, even though if you look at the definition of hustle in Google, you'll actually see that it says, what's it say? To illicitly obtain by forceful action. When I read that, I was like, what? And it was just so interesting. It's like, I don't want to illicitly obtain clients by forceful action. And so where I think hustle has a really good place is it depends on where you are in your business journey. I know for me, right at the beginning of my journey, you know, I needed to have that, I've got to take action. I've got to step out of my comfort zone. I've got to do all over myself. And so I truly, truly believe that in order to get your, let's call your business, your airplane. Let's say it's your airplane is your baby, that's your business. And in order to get that airplane off the tarmac and to actually fly, to have it earn you enough that you can quit your 9-to-5 job, to have it earn you enough that you're making 5K months, 10K months, 20K months, 30K months and beyond, right? You need 3 key elements. And I don't know if I've ever spoken to you about this before, but the 3 key elements that literally make your personal energetic frequency 100 times greater than the average person are focus, action, and certainty. So I want you to think of like 3, maybe I'll draw it for you guys, like 3 circles, right? It's going to be really bad. 3 circles. So you got focus, action, certainty, right? When you hit the middle spot right there, that sweet spot, that's where you get 100x growth. And this is where the work is. This is where most people aren't willing to do. And so so like, I guess for me, the biggest thing that I want to share is the first couple of years of my business, it was getting laser focused. We've all heard about the importance of having a vision, because a vision pulls you out of bed in the morning. It's not this, I've got to motivate myself. You know, I'm so aligned with my values. I'm so in love with what I do. I have this vision. I can see so clearly. And that is when you wake up spontaneously inspired every day. It's not like when I compare myself when I was an accountant in comparison to what I'm doing now, I needed money to motivate me to get out of bed. I wanted to call sick every day. It wasn't in alignment with my values. And now I get up inspired and excited for the day. So huge difference there, guys. So getting a vision is really, really clear. Literally like mapping out the next couple of years, future projecting, like where would I want to be? That's the biggest thing. Then next is action. I mean, this is the biggest thing, but the reality is most people are consumed in their fear to take the action that they need to do in order to get them where they're at. And, you know, there's two things. Eckhart Tolle explains it beautifully when he says we have this compulsion to live almost exclusively through pain from past experience or anxiety of the future. And we say in this, what if it doesn't work, or it didn't fucking work in the past, why should I take the chances now? And you let pain from past experience dictate your decisions in the now, or you allow this illusion of this fear also dictate you, and you keep stuck. And so what I see so many times is this analysis paralysis. I'll do it when, I'll do it when, I'll do it when. We play this when game. And it's like we're not actually being present. And that's the biggest thing, pushing through that fear and knowing that, you know, courage is never just going to come along magically one day and be like, hey, Melanie, we're ready to do that big thing. Let's go do that speaking gig. No, like you have to, like you literally have to go and step into that fear, like first into that unknown. And when you do, I promise you guys, literally something happens to your energy. And courage explodes in your energetic field. And it's like, haven't you ever seen, like, is there a person in your life maybe, or someone you see on social media, or maybe someone you admire or a leader, that they're constantly doing shit that you'd never dare to dream about, or constantly doing things that you admire? Fuck, they're brave. And like, for me, it started making me think, like, are these people like masochists? Like, why do they keep doing this shit? Like, I get why you'd want to stay in your comfort zone, right? Low stress levels, it's comforting. You don't have to deal with anxiety. But the reality is these people know that every single time they step into that uncertainty, that unknown, that darkness, whatever you want to call it, every single time something shifts them and courage explodes in their energy field. And I think a lot of people at the really, really, really early stages of their business, when they have raised their standards of what they want from life and they've dared to dream, you know, I think we get a lot of the time trapped in this in this fear that really holds us back. So I guess one question that I want you guys to write down, if you're not moving as fast as you'd like to, if you feel like you've got kind of slow progress, I want you to tune in and maybe ask tonight before you go to bed, or even tomorrow morning, and just trust what comes through. And again, if you've never talked to your soul, or never really talked to your subconscious mind, or talked to anything like that, and you're very, very dense on this is a 3D reality, nothing else exists, then you're probably not going to hear any answers at the start. And that's okay. This takes practice, okay? Don't get frustrated. But I want you to ask yourself, what am I not really doing that if I were to do would make all the difference? Or what am I pretending to do that I'm not really doing? That's the question. What am I pretending to do that I'm not really doing that if I did would make all the difference? Because our ego has one job, and it is to stay employed. And the way it stays employed is to trick you with its superpower, fear, right? And when you ask this question, it kind of strips away the bullshit. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a nod or a thumbs up if this is all making sense. Awesome. The last key element, guys, is certainty. I think so many of us actually do have focus. We do have a vision. We have gotten clear where we want to be. And a lot of you guys have actually taken massive action. What I see a lot of the time with my clients is a lack of certainty. What I mean by certainty is conviction, self-belief, that inner knowing, right? And it's like you almost have to be deluded and have this deluded self-belief if you want that exponential business growth. This is what I see is time and time again with so many leaders or anyone that's doing anything grand or anyone that's ever really transformed their lives rapidly. They've had this like almost deluded self-belief and conviction. And so for me, I'm not going to go into meditation today, but I urge and I encourage anyone here that hasn't given it a crack, you know, to really look into meditation, any form. My personal favorite is transcendental meditation. For me, this is what made all the difference with my self-belief, because what it did is it started to drown out that chitter chatter, that ego, that self, that voice, that internal dialogue that would consistently tell me, you can't do this. Who do you think you are? You know, what do they laugh at you? What are this? What are that? And it would have prevented me from doing anything, any events, any Facebook lives, taking any action. So meditation was a really beautiful way to raise my vibration and naturally strip away that freaking monkey brain that, let's be honest, a lot of the time rules our every single day-to-day life. The 7 main things, though, guys, that actually make up your personal energetic frequency, and let's, for the purposes of this training, call it your PEF, P-E-F, personal energetic frequency. So there's 7 main things that affect this, guys. And most coaching programs or coaching modalities or speakers will talk about 1 or 2 of these, but maybe, you know, but a lot of the time they don't actually cover all of it. In order for you to have a subatomic shift, you've got to look at all of it. So your 7 main things are programming frequency. What I mean by this is the programs that you have stored in your subconscious mind, because 95% of what we manifest in life is coming from the unconscious mind. So that's the first thing, programming, meaning your beliefs, okay? Your languaging, okay? So abracadabra, I always say, people are like, what? Abracadabra? Abracadabra, can you guys hear me fine? Is that cool that I've switched? Awesome. Abracadabra comes from a Hebrew saying, we create what we speak. And it's really, really important to start getting diligent of what you keep recreating. Like we've heard these things before, you know, I'm the author of my own journey, da-da-da-da-da-da. But so many of us are addicted to talking about what is, or we're addicted to talking about what we don't want. And this is one of the biggest things that we've got to try and create a new habit. Then we've got emotional frequency, our heart, right? Our heart is the largest electromagnetic energy generator in the entire body. Obviously, you've got your thoughts, so thought frequency, your level of self-love, how you relate to others, and your environment. So they're the 7 things that affect the subatomic particle pretty much. Now, the reason that I am so obsessed, and we're going to get into money right away now, but the reason that I am so obsessed, guys, with quantum physics, and I've gone deep into it lately, is because, as you know, everything is energy. And literally how you view the subatomic particle is what determines how it shows up in your reality. And what I mean by this is observing is creating. And I'm not going to go into this on a scientific level, but yeah, absolutely. Love that, Elizabeth. And so get this right. An atom, and this is why I love this shit, because it's like, what is even real? Did you know that an atom is made up of 99.999999996% empty space? seriously. So it's like, so what we think is real, what we think is matter, it's all empty space. But how we view it is how it shows up in our solid reality. And that's why I say solid, because literally nothing is in solid. If we fit the entire human race around the globe, right? What's that, 8 billion of us? If we fit all of us into what is actually matter, what's like dense matter, we would all fit into one singular sugar cube. So it's like, you know, it's absolutely insane stuff. And if you're not like mind blown by quantum physics, and it's because you haven't explored it enough, you know. And so one of the biggest, and it's like, how can I put it, Mother Teresa said that, she had it right. She said, I don't know if anyone remembers this, one of her most famous quotes was, I will never attend an anti-war rally, but invite me to a pro-peace rally and I'm there. And that's because she knew that observing is creating. Most people keep observing things and they keep perpetuating things the way they are. So you keep observing your bank balance and it keeps locking you emotionally into that emotional trigger that it's not enough. Or you keep observing, you know, poverty, you keep observing illness, war. We keep observing the unwanted things the same way, which keeps perpetuating the same thing. So even though us as the human race, we have this beautiful gift to change our lives, we also have an ethical obligation to observe responsibly. And we can literally all change everything, not just turn off start by turning off the television. I love it. Not just our own lives, not just our own financial situations, but we literally can change the world at large. Now, the biggest thing is that I want to share with you is, you know, how are you observing your finances? How are you observing money? And this was one of the biggest shifts that I had with money, guys, because the reality is, if everything is energy, how is a frequency of a person any different to a frequency of money? Right? Everything is energy. Everything's a subatomic particle. It just shows up tangibly different in your reality. And so for most people, this is where the golden nugget I need you to take away, and I'm going to give you a bit of a homework, okay? For most people, if money were a person, it would run the fuck away from you. It would probably have a restraining order against you because of how we've been treating it over the years. Think about your entire life, the way you've been treating money. I know for me, when I was in scarcity, I would blame it. I would shame it. I would tell it it's never enough. I would get super fucking needy. If it wasn't there, I'd say, when are you coming back, please? When are you coming back? And I thought, like, if I treated a person that way, like, I literally thought, like, if I treated Kelly, my fiance, the same way I treat money, would she want to marry me? Fuck no, absolutely not. You know, we try to lock it away. We try to save it for a rainy day. We've got this real, like, you're not enough. I'm going to capture you and lock you down. Like, it's no different to putting someone in a fucking dungeon and then expecting them to love you and want to play with you. No wonder money doesn't want to play with you. So the good news is we can heal this relationship, okay? And so, yeah, I guess the biggest thing for me is when I started looking at my relationship with money is when I started treating it no different than treating it like the love of my life. And this might feel a bit funny at the start, guys, but your homework is literally to go on a bit of a money love rant every morning. No different to a gratitude rant or a gratitude journal. And start tuning into everything and everywhere where money is around, all the things that money has allowed you to experience in your life. Because right now, a lot of us are sitting at fear around money. And the way to shift that vibration is to literally go on a massive money rant. For me, I tune in from everything, like, oh my God, money, thank you so much for the high vibe, delicious foods I get to eat every day. Thank you for the restaurant I got to dine at today. Thank you for all the coaches I've ever worked with, any book I've ever read. The only reason I am who I am today is because of you, money, because I got to invest in myself with you. Like, really tuning into everything and seeing that money is everywhere. And so if we start actually focusing on what money has done for us, and even if some of you might want to say sorry to it, awesome, Fiona, I'm glad you're enjoying this. Some of it might want to start off by saying, I'm really sorry, money, for treating you horribly. And I promise from now on, I'm going to start treating you like my best friend. I'm going to chat to you every day. I'm going to set a little 2-minute timer every morning, and I'm going to tune into all the abundance that's in my life already. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing that helped me shift. I also have a little gold nugget for some of us, and I don't know if you guys will relate to this. For me, and this is going to sound a bit crass, but roll with it. For me, when I started really looking at what if I treated Kelly the same way I treated my bank accounts? And some of you are probably thinking, well, how did you used to treat your bank accounts? And so I used to literally not know what was going in and out of them. I used to avoid looking at my fucking bank accounts. And when I used to look at my bank accounts, I used to cringe. So, okay, Kelly, I don't know what's going in and out of you. I cringe and I avoid looking at you. Again, like, I know it sounds crass, guys, but literally looking and treating money and your bank accounts no different. And really, like, again, okay, I need to really own responsibility that money is showing up this way because of the way I'm treating it, talking about it, thinking about it, believing about it. Does that make sense, guys? Thumbs up if this is all making sense. Okay. The second biggest thing, is there any questions around this specifically? Because I'm going to continue around money, but I'm going to give you a tool that I think could really shift a lot of shame for a lot of us around money. Is my cool to just keep going and we can just do questions at the end? Yeah, awesome. So one of the biggest things as well that I'm seeing is, okay, like when I say the word invest, what comes up for you guys? Like, just throw me some shit in the chat box. Like, invest. Like, you think real estate, shares, property. Oh, wow, give it away, losing money, shit. So investment. Okay, let's think about investment then. Investment. When I say investment, do you think of like physical, hard, tangible assets? Yeah. And maybe it won't be for a lot of people in this group, because a lot of people here, might be growth driven, might have invested in a coach for themselves, or to see the importance in investing in the non-physical to get them to that next level. The reality is, though, guys, 95% of society, when I say the word invest or investment, they think of the physical, hard, tangible assets. So they think of real estate, they think of property, shares, stock market, superannuation. And please don't get me wrong, what I'm about to share with you is probably one of the most controversial things that I think, really helped me shift is, I'm going to stop looking at the comments because I'm getting distracted. So is that, okay, let's get vulnerable here. I'm going to get vulnerable for you guys here, and it might trigger some of you. So, oh, there's my cat. Hello, cat. Cat wants to give me some love. So the biggest thing that had me shift, guys, is when I really, really look at this pillar is the amount of money that I've spent on myself in the last 3 years. Most people would think I'm batshit crazy, like insane. And to give you an approximation, it's around 300K. This one is being really naughty. Cat. All right, we'll let it go there. So about $300,000, which is absolutely insane, right? I'm just going to, hello, kitty cat. You're being very cheeky, right? And so what I want to share this with you is, yes, it's an absolutely insane amount of money. And for you, it might be $2,000, it might be $5,000, it might not ever, like, the reason that I share this is because within 2.5 years, I managed to take, so last year around June, was the first month I hit my first 100K month. So within 2.5 years, I've now been able to take my business to 6-figure months. It's absolutely insane. I don't know about anyone else do you know of any other asset other than myself that would ever give you, or yourself, that would ever give you a return on investment of $100,000 a month within 2.5 years? You know, and so what I'm trying to land here, guys, is what we've been told as responsible investing, is it relevant anymore? Who are we taking advice from? Most of us have called in lifestyles of financial freedom and creativity and expansion and travel, and we want to hit a few buttons on our laptops and make money, and we want to travel the world. And I'm not saying this is not possible. It's entirely fucking possible. But what I'm saying is, if you want the rapid exponential growth, you've got to be willing to invest in both, not just the hard, physical, tangible assets that set you up for your future, but you are your greatest asset. You are the greatest return on investment that will ever exist. And if you'd rather back a pile of bricks and cement and land than your own mindset, your own message, your vision, your dreams, I urge you to look deeply at that and ask yourself, why? What bullshit society programming have you bought into? I'm like, honestly, guys, we have called in a lifestyle so much grander than any of our grandparents or parents or 95% of society would ever dare to dream about. And so we've got to ask ourselves of what we've been taught even works for us to create that financial freedom anymore. So think of it this way. If we've raised our standards of what we consider an extraordinary life that is emotionally fulfilling, we've got to raise our standards of the models that are going to get us there. Because we're using these models that our grandparents and our parents are using, then honestly, and maybe you would be truly emotionally fulfilled with a house paid off by the time you're 70. And if you're lucky enough, you know, get to enjoy your later years. I don't fucking want that. And I know a lot of people in here would only want that if they're buying into the fear or the scarcity that, you know, well, I'm not worthy, or that's just not for me. I could never make that happen. Does that make sense, guys? You know, that was the biggest thing for me. And really looking at what we actually consider an investment. Yeah. And so it's really, really interesting. My fiance actually runs her own finance company. It's called Lifestyle Finance. And what she's actually done is partnered up with a lot of coaches. And what is really cool, because she's actually made a lot of 5K products or 10K products or beyond really easy, and like allowed people to get their message out there more. So the client gets to pay like $50 or $100 per week. The coach gets the money up front. And so it's a win-win situation. And so what I see so often is though people freaking out. They don't call it an investment. They call it debt. And so again, if we look at that frequency funnel, guys, what I see, the biggest thing that keeps people in this vicious cycle is debt shame. Debt shame. And we think, I'm just going to do it the linear, logical way. I'm going to work really hard for years and years. I'm going to get out of my debt. Then I'll do it. Then I'll do it. And so I'm not saying that, I'm not poo-pooing that. And if you want that, that's cool. If you want to do it the safe way, that's cool. Again, please don't expect to have the fucking sexy lifestyle if you're not willing to have the balls to back yourself. Yeah. And so what I would love you to do, another bit of homework on top of your money love rant. So we've got 3 things already. We've got, what am I pretending to do that I'm not really doing, that if I were to do would make the world of a difference? This is what you've got to ask yourself when you're not getting the rapid results. For some of you, it might be, oh, fuck, I'm not investing in myself. I don't know. It might be, I'm not really going Facebook Live. I'm not really being consistent. Whatever it is for you. And I should have really pre-framed on this Zoom that I was going to go no bullshit and full throttle. I think Mel did that fine. Number 2, We've got the money love rant, tuning into everything money's ever brought to you, speaking to money like it's your best friend, really loving up on it and starting to handle, love it, Joel, starting to starting to heal that relationship with money, apologize to it. And then just like, even if it means like, you know, drawing out a little cartoon or sketching what your money best friend would look like and pinning it up against your wall and having it there as an anchor. And every morning you look at it and be like, you know, let's do this, let's play, let's create. Thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you for this, and just healing it that way. And the next thing would be, this is going to be really, really powerful, guys, is if any of you have got any sort of debt, any credit cards, any personal loans, any HEX debt, anything at all, any personal loans, finance loans, anything at all, your job tomorrow is to list out all your debt, all your credit cards, all your personal loans, all of it. And I want you to love the fuck out of it. Okay, I want you to tune into all the things that it was able to buy you, all the times it saved you when you were financially short, all the things it allowed you to buy instead of having to save dollar for dollar and wait 5 years to do that thing or drive that car or work with that coach. Does that make sense, guys? And tune into who has this, not debt, support money, because that's what it is. It's still money showing up in your reality, but you're poo-pooing it. That's fucking debt. Oh, what? What did support money ever do to you? Right? And really shifting your vibration around this, because what I've found is, guys, the fastest way to transform such a dense, and just to give you some context, shame is the lowest frequency on the consciousness funnel. So when you're in flow, you're around 500 hertz. That's love. And that's when your energy is literally emanating. And that's what they call the flow effect. This is when the right people, situations, circumstances, and events, you're in flow. This is where, like, you've made a sale out of nowhere, or someone's approached you, or you've had a really good week financially. Flow state, right? Like, we call them synchronicities. Okay? Shame, you're literally at the most contracted energy. And so, awesome. I love it, Chris. And so I want you to list it all out. I want you to really tune into all the things you bought with this beautiful support money and tuning into this, because the fastest way to raise the vibration of shame is to be in a place of appreciation and gratitude for it. So what I want you to do after you've listed it all out, literally write it down, because there's something really powerful about taking it from the metaphysical to the physical. Okay, so physical, writing it out. And then I want you to literally read it out aloud. Okay, so write it all out, read it all out loud. And so I've actually gotten a few clients to do this, and like the shifts in their finances within the week has been just enormous. So that's a little gift I have for you guys. I think that the last thing I kind of want to talk about for a bit here is, and then we can go into a bit of a question and answer, is, because I don't want to give you too much homework, is wealth identity creation. So a lot of us are really waiting for, you know, to feel abundant, and then I'll be the version of myself that does all the things. And so what I want you guys to really tune into is that money is not a prerequisite to then go and do the right things. Okay. It's in like, it's not about, oh, I'll have the money first, and then I'll meditate, and then I'll have my morning ritual, and then I'll eat right, and then I'll go exercise. But I've got to make the money first. And so many people get trapped in this cycle, where the reality of it is, you know, as soon as you start being the version of yourself that vibrates at the frequency of whatever it is for you financially, or how you are in business, or how you show up, or even how you deal and show up with shitty situations. Because raising your vibration, guys, is not about things, life being perfect and being on a high frequency all the time. Like, fuck no. Especially if you are growth driven, you're always going to come up against something, especially if, you know, you're growth driven. But what I see so many times is, we get trapped in, I got to do all over myself. to have, so meaning hustle, do, to have the stuff, the money in the bank account, the success, the clients, to be happy. So we're doing to have to be happy, where it's completely the wrong way around. What we really want to be is, and this is what they say, that it's all about you attract who you are, okay? And so this is why we want to be, do, have. Be the version of yourself, be happy, be abundant, be the version of yourself that vibrates at the frequency of your desire. Then take action from that place of alignment and inspiration to have it show up in your reality. Is this making sense, guys? So the equation is be, do, have. That's what we want to be. Most people are do, to have all the stuff to then be happy. And so, you know, it's really about tuning into this. I think the reason that I love this work and I love really delving into the subconscious mind and what's going on unconsciously is because one of the biggest, deepest work I do with my clients is the roles we play unconsciously. And in my Raise Your Vibration program, I talk about roles like the people pleaser and the victim and the martyr and the robot and the caretaker. And my clients get these like, holy shit, this is why I've been showing up this way with finances and my family. And this is how I fucked up every relationship. And, although it's like, for them, it's really awesome to then become so acutely aware, because when you become aware of your pattern, then you can choose something differently. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And the next level is what I'm now teaching you, my Subatomic Shift Mastermind, is wealth, unconscious wealth roles we play. So what I mean by this is we literally have these identities placed on us. And so we have learned how to make money a lot of the time from what we were conditioned as what we saw as kids, from our parents, from society, from any other big influential person when we were young. And so we'll take on identities like the hard worker, or, the slave. And what I mean by slave is, I don't like it, but I have to do it for the money, or the hustler, I can't take a day off. It's like, where did we learn all this stuff from? And it's just like a really powerful process I take them through where I won't get too into it, but I think one of the biggest things I want to land here is that taking the time to actually create your wealth identity and getting really clear on things like, what would be the physical evidence that I've made it? Because the reality is most of us will make it to our goal or get close, and we'll just push it out further because the ego is like this bottomless pit with this insatiable thirst, and it never ever wants you to think you've made it or land. It never wants you to be in gratitude or presence or appreciation, because then it dies, right? Ego dies in presence or in conscious awareness. And so this is really about creating things. So tuning into what would be the physical evidence that I've made it or I've become successful. How am I spending my time now that I'm successful? And actually really defining as well what you consider a successful and emotionally fulfilling life. One of the biggest things for me was getting clear on this. So for me, it's like, well, what would make my ultimate reality? What would make me like, just wake up every day and go, holy shit, this is amazing. For me, I had to condition myself to have the belief I get paid to be me. I get paid abundantly by being authentically me. I also wanted to wake up in an experience and create a lifestyle for myself that, I get to create my reality. I bend my reality with my thoughts and my actions and my beliefs. So getting really clear on this, guys, and then tuning into this identity every day. I'm not going to say it's just an easy quick fix. Creating your own wealth identity is something that took me like pretty much like a good year to condition myself. And then once you've created it, Chris, it's about conditioning yourself every single day, reminding yourself of this new identity. So you've got that formula right. You're really being this version of yourself. So you really start attracting people on your vibe. I think I've given everyone enough homework. What do you reckon, Mel?
Oh my goodness. I've like got pages and pages and pages here, but I kind of want to just recap a little bit. You know, there was one thing that I do want you to just recover again, if you can, was the 7. You listed 7. One of them was the program frequency, like our beliefs, your languaging, your self-love, thought frequency. What were the other 3?
Yep. So thought frequency. Yep. Emotional frequency. So
yep.
How you are waking up feeling, because the reality of it is now a lot of people come to me saying, Alex, I'm doing the gratitude grant, I'm meditating, I'm doing the stuff, why isn't it changing? And so some of us might right now have a morning ritual or have a little something, but you really need to ask yourself, where am I spending the other 90% of my day? Am I spending it in an emotional dominant vibration of fear and shame or you know, things that aren't serving me? So that's something to look at. Emotional frequency, the universe will continue to respond around your most dominant emotional frequency. Then we got how you treat others. So how you relate to others, right? What I mean by this might be a really cool golden nugget for everyone. So it's the really sneaky, small judgments that we place on people that are the really sneaky vibe killers. So what I mean by this is, let's say you see a red Ferrari, it's convertible, and it's driving past you, and you look inside the car, and let's say there's a young hot chick driving it, right? And let's say your conscious mind says to you, to protect you, oh, bet it's not hers. Bet it's daddy's. She couldn't afford that. And so I get it, right? It's trying to protect you. And maybe you wouldn't have those thoughts. I'm just doing a really cliche example. And so what happens is your conscious mind has just communicated to your subconscious mind, boss doesn't want that. Boss doesn't want that. Do not get it. Red light. And it's also communicating young people can't make a lot of money. All this stuff. Does this make sense? So this can be like really sneaky. You could look at someone's Facebook posts where they're always getting constantly a lot of engagement. You're like, fucking hell. Like, so that any sort of jealousy, any sort of criticism, any sort of where you're putting someone down to make yourself feel better, you're literally telling your subconscious mind, it's literally getting the communication, boss doesn't want that. So a homework piece for everyone could be tuning in tomorrow to everything, everywhere you go. If you see something that you like, looking at life like a catalog and literally being like, yes, boss, green light, go get it. And starting to change the communication channels between because like, please get your subconscious mind is like your secret secretary. It will do and obey whatever boss tells it to do. The reality is most of the time, our conscious mind is fucking it up, right? It's just sending the wrong communication.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So we've got program frequency, your languaging, self-love, thought frequency, emotional frequency, and how you treat others.
And environment, that's the 7th.
And environment. Perfect. So I'm actually, you know, when you started mentioning about your debt, well, you know, we flip it on its head, like you said, and start to be grateful. Well, fuck me, I've just got rich all of a sudden, like all of a sudden. But, you know, that is just so incredibly powerful, because what are we either led with, and everyone on this call will understand, especially in this particular business, is, you know, we have so many people that we strive to help with wealth, but we're coming at it from a place where we're already in the red. You know, we're trying to help people create that lifestyle and more money or whatever it is, but we're already, you know, talking to ourselves the wrong way as well. So that is just, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit scared about that tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to putting that into action, as I'm sure.
I think this is it's a really, like, think of it as a really personal practice of like just falling in love with all the things that it allowed you to experience and who it allowed you to become. Where if you didn't have access to this credit card or personal loan or any of this money, you wouldn't have been able to experience it, which means you wouldn't be who you are now. You wouldn't have the belief systems. You wouldn't have the consciousness. You wouldn't be who you are. You wouldn't have these people. You would nothing. And so tuning into all of that, I think it's really massive. Another thing that you shared there is a lot of people in network marketing and whatnot, I think it's just like, oh, I've got to be successful first. I've got to be making a 10K months before I have a right to be preaching that this works. And what I want you guys to get is like, I totally get that. However, let's call bullshit on that, because what your job is to do is fall in love with the opportunity that you're sharing with your market. And if people aren't liking the opportunity you're sharing, all that tells me is you have client work to do, as in you've got to work on your avatar, your ideal soulmate client. Who are they? What do they do? What do they spend the time getting in that person's head, speak their language? That's all you got to do. Fall in love with the opportunity. Tune into what you're actually selling. You're not selling the product. You're selling freedom. You're selling opportunity. You're selling lifestyle. You're selling community. You're selling teamwork. You're selling all these things. And when you look at the higher level of what you're actually selling, it's so much more than just the product. Does that make sense?
100%, 100%. And I think also, you know, like you said, one of those things is certainty. So if you're kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure because I haven't made the money, no one's going to want to do it with you, right? Because you're putting off this vibe of, don't join me because I got no idea what I'm doing and I don't believe in it at all. Really is what's put out there, right? So Alex, you've just blown my mind once again, which is awesome. I knew it was time that we got face to face again. But the be, do, have, right? Like that is so incredibly important, not the do, have, be. So I think if you haven't written that one down, write it in like lipstick on your mirror. You know, that one is a game changer, because, and you'll hear us say a lot in this business, is you need to act as if. So you need to act as if you're already the position you want to be. You're already the person that you want to become, because then you kind of step into that role. You start to hold yourself different. You know, are you dressing like you're at the top of the company? Do you speak like you're at the top of the company?
And I think that's all really relevant and so powerful. Where I think a lot of people might trip up is that we read books like The Secret and The Magic and they tell us to act as if, but that actually goes against our brain chemistry sometimes if we have really deep programs, beliefs that have us believe it's just not a possibility for us. So if you feel like acting as if is not working for you as hard as you might try, and it just feels so incongruent, okay, what this tells me, you've got to do some unconscious wealth roles work, and you've got to do some belief work, meaning you've got to look at the neural pathways. How are they wired? And you want to start doing the work to wire them. Whether it's, if you can't afford it, I totally get that. You know, I don't want to buy into that, but there's YouTube, there's books, there's everything. It's about applying yourself. For me personally, I like investing in myself because I have a saying: pay no money, pay no attention. Pay a little bit of money, pay a little bit of attention. Pay a lot of money, pay a lot of attention. Okay, I've invested like 100K in my mentor this year. I'm paying attention, okay? But that means I'm also implementing, which means I'm getting results. And again, tuning to what you're like, I'm not going to say comfortable, but what your number is. Is it $200? Is it a book? Is it $2,000? Like, what's going to stretch you? And having a look at that and really looking at, this is an investment for my mind, because I'm my greatest asset. And I know in order to make this vehicle work, because it's a really powerful vehicle you have, okay? But if it's not working, then I know there's something energetically that's not quite right, whether it's my self-belief, whether it's whatever it is. And, you know, I need help to help me get in alignment, to help me shift this, to finally make this vehicle work like it is for others.
100%. So I just wanted to quickly open it up. If anyone has, like, we'll take one or two questions if you want to throw it at Alex. I've got one. Alex, if you are in a situation right now, let's say, where you know that there's some subconscious work that you need to do, what is this? Where could you send someone? You know, is there a step one, read this book, or is there a is there something where you go, hey, come and join?
I think that's mine. Hello. I'm trying to figure out whether that's Mel. Is that you or is that me that's called?
I think it's Mel because I can hear you perfectly.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're getting better.
Have you got me now?
Yeah, better. Okay.
Oh, dear.
So
Awesome.
like step one,
Awesome.
101. I've got some subconscious shit. Where do I go?
Yeah, like,
We've lost you again.
yeah, like I know I've got shit. I know I need to work on it. And I'm trying to probably speak for everyone here. So what we do, what's step one?
Yeah. Cool. So step one, well, look, I don't want to sound like a wanker, but I do have my Raise Your Vibration book and it's completely free and I've made it as an Audible version. So if you guys like Audible books and, you know, you like free tools, I've literally got it. And I have a whole chapter on how to literally align the conscious mind with the subconscious mind. And there's a really powerful 5-step process. And not everyone knows this, but this is actually part of my Raise Your Vibration program. So what I really wanted to do with my book is put as much tools from my premium program into this book. And my intention was, like, if I really want to raise vibration, I want to get these tools to as many people as possible and trust that, you know, it'll get to the right people. So I'm not going to go through the 5-step process because they're not, it's not like it's complicated, but I think if you're really serious about like really aligning this and doing the work, there's the chapter. I'll Facebook you so you can pop it in your group later and you can literally listen to that one chapter because I've uploaded it onto SoundCloud. How does that sound?
Yes, that would be amazing. Love it, love it. So Alex, before this internet cuts out due to this crazy weather, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us. This isn't the first time you've done it. No doubt it won't be the last, hopefully, that we get to hang out with you. But Alex, where can people find you? Is there a group that we can join where we can just get more of this? Yeah. And what you know, if somebody wants to go through those shifts and work with you, what have they got to do? Perfect.
So I guess the biggest thing I'm really excited about is I'm actually launching a new 8-day infinite abundance challenge this Friday. But if you guys are ready and thirsty for it now, what I'd love to do, Mel, is send you my link so people can download my audiobook. The second thing is, if you want to start, if you haven't done it before, you can do the 21-day challenge. So the two biggest things, and the new challenge is coming out. Yeah, if you're interested in having like a chat with me, just that, literally find me on Facebook, private message me, and we can have a little chat. But yeah, part of this new challenge, if you liked what I shared tonight, guys, is the Subatomic Shift live event tour that I've literally toured around Australia with, finishing up just last month. I've literally done an online version of this with activations and energetic upgrades, and we go super deep on things we covered today. And so it is like a $29 price point, but there's 8 days for free. And then if you're interested in doing the online version and getting all those activations, that is going to be available to you next week. So I typically don't work with anyone unless they've gone and done a bit of the free stuff and really kind of liked my vibe. And people will know by then where to reach me, because I'll be fucking all over their newsfeed, seriously.
Love it. So that'd be awesome. I will get everything that Alex has put on offer, and yeah, we'll share it with the team. But last question, Alex, if you were on a billboard, what would it say?
Oh, fuck. Okay.
There it is.
It would say the word hustle with a line drawn out of it, and underneath it, it would say align.
Nice. Nice. I think that would get everyone thinking, right? I love it. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming and hang out with us. No doubt you'll be getting some messages from some people that have been tuning in. Appreciate you. See you soon.